Elijah Burke. How you doing?
Oh, I tell you, technology and the issues that come with it. But I'm
I'm
doing good.
telling you. I'm
How
telling
y'all
you.
doing?
So, I'm the guy you've been messaging back and forth with. They
All
call me,
right.
I'm Darkwing Dubb on here. I'll let my co-host introduce himself.
Please do.
I'm the guy that sent you the invite. I am Barz Wrestling Media.
All
That's
right.
me.
What up,
And-
Bars? What's your name, man? Don't give me your tag. Give me your name.
all right. Well, my name's Victor.
All
My
right,
name's
Vic.
Victor.
I mean, we got to talk here for a couple of minutes. I mean, might as well get on first name basis, right?
That's right. That's right.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first message I sent him with the receipt of what I did, he was like, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Walters." I'm like, "Oh man, like bro, you older than me. Don't do that."
It ain't about that. It's about the respect.
Absolutely.
Nah, what's
It's so
definitely.
it's so funny. I was watching a video from earlier that involved legendary gospel singer, and this individual was doing a testimony, and he shared something, and it was so poignant. It was so true, and he was as he was up talking in front of the folk, he said he used to make fun of an old man that had a leg. One leg was turned inward. It was deformed, and he used to make fun. But you know, while he was telling that story, he was also himself now an old man. And he said, I didn't think that I would one day become an older man. And so to that, I say, as he said, I once was young. You've never been old. So you got to hope to get to where others have been, and then you'll understand the whole concept of respect.
Absolutely. And what's funny is that me and him were just talking right before you requested out. He's like, he's in our age bracket. I'm like, yeah, I was actually talking to my wife about who Elijah Burke is. So she Googled him. And it's like, you know, he's only 44. And I was like, no, because I just turned 40. And then Victor here, I believe, is 42. So I was like, we're all in the same age bracket.
Yeah,
Well,
that's wild.
we got our other counterpart up here. Jay, if you want to introduce yourself to Mr. Burke.
What's going on, Elijah? Welcome to the podcast, my brother.
Well, thank you, the man with no face. Well, there he is. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. And yourself?
All right. So we got Jay Vic and we got Walter. So we got the trio. The three amigos are here. So we might as well go on ahead and start making it do what it do.
Let's
and
do
have
it.
some fun while we're doing it.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, TikTok fam, wrestling fans all around the world and on TikTok, tonight we are vibing with a man who's done it all, from the bright lights of WWE to the pulpit of Impact Wrestling. He's a former New Breed leader, a mic master, and a community hero. Make some noise for the Pope, Elijah Burke.
Well, I certainly appreciate that grand introduction. I'm too much noise, but thank you guys. What's up? All right, that goes somewhere. Y'all got this thing together. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Man, so what I first wanted to start out with is your community work.
Cool.
How did you get started with the LoveAlive charity?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for, even kicking it off with this and talking about something that's near and dear to my heart. The LoveAlive charity simply is something much like the story I shared with you guys prior to us getting into this, to the nitty gritty. It comes from life experience. I am from Jacksonville, Florida. Was born and raised in Duval County, and every childhood home that I had, that the houses that I lived in, the places that we call home, are now under the landscape of the Jacksonville Jaguars parking lot and all other utility buildings in the area. But before it became that, it wasn't the highest level of living. And oftentimes, when mom was working 2 jobs and dad was doing his thing, we used to have to go and walk to the store. And me being the youngest of 6 kids, being raised, I remember walking to a place called Winn-Dixie multiple times on a Saturday morning, you know, when the Smurfs was on and the biscuits and whatever, the Snorks and everything else. But used to walk to Winn-Dixie to get a box of cereal because mom left the money for us so we could have something, some breakfast. And a little boy, you know, 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever age I was, walking to the store and having to walk by homeless individuals that were sleeping literally on the sidewalk outside the grocery store. Go inside, sometimes I was fortunate enough that she left enough money for us to get any cereal we want. So I remember this particular day I grabbed some Cookie Crisp. And I got my Cookie Crisp, I got the milk, the walk back home, which was probably about a 20 to 30 minute walk, depending on how fast I walked. And when I come out the store, I'll never forget a grown man looking at this little boy and asking, "Do you have change to spare?" And that never left me. It never left me that, you know, the possibilities of what life will bring and place upon an individual by fault, no fault of theirs, or maybe, you know, bad decisions, whatever the case may be. But I thought, man, if I could someday do more to help people in this community, because I know how much or how less of help has been given. I said, if I could do something to help one day, if the Lord put me in the right position, I'm going to do my part. And no quicker than the Lord provided. No quicker than I made it to WWE and then on to TNA. I decided one day that I was just going to be the change that I wish to see in the world. And so that's what I did. I went downtown. I passed out. I made some flyers. I passed out to every homeless person I saw. I went to every shelter in downtown Jacksonville, and it simply said, "Free Burger King." That was my first ever, what we call now love drives, free Burger King. And I went downtown. It was just me, myself, and I. I got with Burger King. I said, "This is what I want to do. I need about 300 burgers." They're like, "Huh?" I said, "Yeah, I need about 300 burgers. And we're going to be right here in the back of your building in this big land that you guys have there. It's not really yours, but the big land." And so they worked with me. And because, again, the homeless community in Jacksonville is mainly downtown Jacksonville, which they're ushering out of that area now. But that's what I did. And after the first or second year of me doing that, I was able to form the LoveAlive charity. I got some people that believed in what I am doing and was doing at the time. And we became a 5013 organization. We've yet to yield any support from Jacksonville, from Jacksonville. I just said the city of Jacksonville. And we've yet to, we're not government funded. We operate strictly off of the donations of others. So anytime I get a moment like this, where my brother Walter say, "Hey man, I'm going to support the charity. You support my charity, you got my support, so I want to support you." And that's what we do. We scratch each other's back.
I appreciate that. And I was happy to support you. Do you have any inspirations on branching out of Jacksonville?
Well, I mean, the first thing is to become more in Jacksonville. And again, for over a decade now, we're going 14 years strong. I want to be clear. Outside of those who have donated, you go to my donation page, you go to the LoveAlive charity on Instagram, go to the LoveAlive charity on Facebook. We document each year how many donations that we have. And some people literally donate $1. One person donated 46 cents. It's okay. It's whatever you donate. But, to this point, on this year, we have 28 or 29 with you, Walter, donations. So you can't be more outside until you're more and greater on the inside.
Yes,
So
sir.
the point is to become more. We've been established, but the point is to get that financial support. Try to secure some help in Jacksonville or from outside of Jacksonville, meaning the government. And it's a process. It's a process, and we're working hard. Me and my team, it's a board. It's not just me. I got 4 people on the board that's in the files of Tallahassee, as must be, and we do everything together for the most part.
So, which gives you more fulfillment now? Hearing the crowd pop or seeing lives changed in your community?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's 2 different spectrums right there. But there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I was at McDonald's. This is when I decided to, literally say, okay, I got to do this. I got to do it by myself. I'm doing it by myself. I was at McDonald's. I was talking to a family friend. And as we're sitting there, McDonald's is in late night hours. Only the drive-thru is open. We're sitting outside talking, or standing outside talking. And all of a sudden, a car leaves out of the driveway. And as I'm standing there talking, I see this homeless man walk over into the trash can. You know how they have those trash cans at this, when you're in the drive-thru? Lift it up because he saw somebody throw something in there. He wanted to go fishing to see what it was. And he did. And when he did that, man, he pulled out a half-eaten burger and he pulled out a cup with some whatever was in it, started eating immediately and started drinking out of the garbage. So to answer your question, when I see the smiles on people's faces, when we're given not just food, but we got clothes that we give them, shoes that we give, brand new scarves, blankets for the people that are on the streets. We have to order all these things and clothes obviously donated, but there's nothing that compares. Nothing that compares. I mean, the crowd pop is one thing, and that may make me happy, but there's nothing like tears of joy when you see people just so grateful for the fact that somebody said, in this moment, we're loving you, and you matter. So there's nothing compares to that.
Absolutely. You're not just a wrestler, as we just found out. You're a speaker, a mentor, and a light. How do you balance it all?
Staying humble. Staying humble. No glory that I seek of my own. None. And it doesn't cost. It doesn't hurt to help others. And you know what type of person you are by what you put out, not by what you receive. And so therefore, I just look to be a light in this crazy dark world that we live in. And as always, be the change. We talk about it, but not enough of us do it. We say, oh, the government this or that and the other. And before we move on, because I know we got to get to the wrestling side of things, but before we get there, let me say this for anybody that always or may have an issue with giving a buck or two to that person on the side of the expressway. Yeah, we know sometimes those individuals, listen, I pass them every single day. Every day I pass somebody that's on the side of the road. But I want you to take this into account the next time you say, I'm not going to give them my dollar or give them a couple of bucks because they ain't going to do nothing but go get something to drink with it. Well, you know who else goes and gets something to drink when they want to forget about their current situations? You know who else wants to go pick up some herbs or herbs, however you describe this, a little to escape reality for a moment? But a lot of people that might be watching this. And why do you do it? I'm just fed up, or I don't want to deal with it. I need to zone out. Well, I understand that some people don't realize that the individual that's on the street, the reason that they may be begging you for that dollar too, because they do want to go get that bottle or whatever it is, it helps them escape the harsh and obviously the reality, the harsh reality that they are living in. And who knows, I don't condone it, but I understand it, because for that one moment when they go out there and they may have their bottle and their reality becomes a little augmented, well, who knows how they see in this world. They may be walking down the street to them in a tuxedo. They might be a king when they lay on that park bench. They might be sleeping in a king-size bed. But you judge them for escaping their reality, but you don't look at the fact that, I do the same thing. You just got the means to do it. They don't.
Before we get off the topic, because I know this is passionate, I got people in the comments wanting to know how to get to your charity.
Oh, I appreciate that. Again, you can do so by visiting the LoveAlive charity on Instagram or on Facebook, and you can visit the website love-alive.org. And if you don't have PayPal or a credit card you want to use, you can donate anything via Cash App, the LoveAlive charity.
And mods, if you guys could get that and pin it in the chat for people to see it, that'd be great. I'll let my counterparts here get to their questions, Mr. Burke.
Yes, sir.
This is a question that just came off spurred just by hearing you talk. How important is faith to you when it comes to the lifestyle that you're living now, and how important is it to you as far as your wrestling career? Because sometimes you could be in awkward situations where you might lose faith. You might lose faith in your career. You might lose faith in yourself. You might just lose self-esteem. And not to mention, from my experience as a mental health expert, you are talking like a counselor. You might have something on the side that you just haven't tapped into yet. If I am saying so myself.
Well, Vic, is very it goes hand in hand. It's something, I've been blessed to be able to convey whatever message and deal and talk. My charity is just not about the homeless. I mean, we deal with the troubled youth. I go out, if you go again and go over on the page or go to YouTube, Pope TV for you, but certainly the Instagram, you'll see where we're in the schools too, man. I go to the schools, me and my team, and we go do career days. I deal with the troubled youth and encourage them to be better. It's so my faith when it comes to this business called wrestling, man, it does go hand in hand, believe it or not, because it takes a lot of faith to know that where I have been brought to was not by my own will or my own power. It was something that I wanted, obviously, but I was placed in a position to do greater. And so therefore, when I ascended to the position, I never forgot the cause or the calling behind the position. And so therefore, I hang on in there, man. And regardless what happened in the world of wrestling, I am never discouraged. God has taken me to the mountaintop, if you will. So I'm all good. I'm good in the hood, as they like to say back where I'm from. It's all good.
Yeah, that's what's up. I'm me being a man of faith myself, like I'm just enjoying what you're saying, because like a lot of times when you get into that limelight, you forget where you came from, you forget who God is, and you forget all the things that brought you to the table. And I'm so happy that you're saying these things, because whoever's in the comments might need to hear this. My partners will tell you, like, I'm big on faith, and I'm big on like, prayer and things like that being the key to your success, especially with my wife. My wife will get on my case. She was like, today I just had a rough day. I tell you, I was about to tell I was about to tell my peoples, I said, listen, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this today because it was just everything was bombarding me back and forth. But then hearing you speak like this, I was like, wow, man, this just is, it just calmed my nerves. And I was just like, wow, you know what I mean? It's just amazing. Like, you know, so I just got to tell you that. I just had to tell you that.
I appreciate that, man. You're not the only one. You are not the only one, you know. Walt already knows, you know, it was going to be a little time constraint, but yeah, man, you never forget, you know, who brought you to the dance. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you got there on your own, according to you on your own accord, then that's one thing. That's you and that's your business. But when it comes to those of us who get to where we're going, by faith and faith alone, we know without a shadow of a doubt. How in the world is this little black boy with this little afro-headed black kid from Jacksonville, Florida, who's an officer and thinking my time is already come and gone? How in the world do I get to the WWE? How in the world do I go to Louisville, Kentucky, and sit up under Jim Cornette, Danny Davis, and OVW, the land of, and I love them to just. I mean, there's not a lot of us, you know, and you know what I'm saying? How in the world does a little black Afro-headed kid go to OVW and Jim Cornette goes, this is my champion, you know? And so it's all about being, you know, appointed. It's all about being appointed. And sometimes you're brought out of certain situations and put in current situations so that you can be that influence to others. So you can't forget it because you got to be the one to tell them. It wasn't by my own will or my own purpose or my own might. You know, it was by he that is able to do exceedingly and abundantly. Above all that, there was no way. Let me tell you how it happened. And then I'll shut up. Or hush. So let me tell you how it happened. I was booking somebody in the jail, man. Now, man, I got a 350-pound, real life, fire breathing, barefoot walking, talking redneck who was my best friend at the time. You know, he was my best. I mean, and me and him, we love. I used to beat him up. You know, he stayed on top of me, and you know, I'm in size 15, so every time they walk, they just boom, boom, boom. Used to have to go upstairs. His mom's in the room drunk. Calm this junk down. I'm trying to sleep, you know. But that was my boy. And we always had a dream. Obviously, we were Horsemen fans. I'm a huge NWA fan, WCW guy. And it was like our dream was to become a professional wrestler. But here's the one thing about your dreams. You have to always be careful not to have an adjacent component to your dream. Now watch where I'm going with this. I'm not talking about when you become your wife or your husband. That's different because that's not an adjacent component. You're one at that point. But I'm talking about when you're trying to make something happen for you, you can't base it off of somebody else when you're ready. You ready? You ready? When you gonna do it? Because they'll hold you down sometime. They may not have the same drive and the willpower that you have to go to where you seek to go. So we were supposed to go to the Funkin' Conservatory in Okello. That was the plan. Get up $1,500, go to the Funkin' Conservatory, get trained by Dory Funk, and hopefully, you know, get to the power plant, you know, in Atlanta, Georgia. That was the whole plan, man. Thank God they went under. I'll just say that. It was a day of tears for me, but thank God they went under because God knows best. And so I'm booking somebody in the jail, man. I'm booking somebody in the jail. And we were overcrowded. And so here's how you know when God steps in on your behalf. There's no way I'm booking in the jail somebody and I got to wait because we're overcrowded. And all of a sudden, as I'm looking at the computer screen, a banner comes across the computer screen, as God is my witness. A banner says first ever WWE tryout camp, OVW. How in the world? We don't even, a lot of that stuff back then, and we didn't have the computers that you have today. We're not supposed to be on that stuff. It blocks that stuff. But somehow this pops up on the screen. And when I saw it, talk about being put in the right place at the right time. Come on here, David, and topple this giant called Goliath. Man, I clicked on it. I didn't care if I was supposed to. I clicked on it real quick while we were waiting, and I printed it out. I printed out that form. I got my stuff together. I sent some pictures and all this why I want to be selected out of so many people. They were only accepting 50. Sent to the Jim Cornette. Me and my girlfriend at the time, sitting on the dock of the bay on a Sunday afternoon, I believe it was, maybe a Saturday. And we're sitting on the dock of the bay, baby. We got the lights out there. The sun is just shining so ever. And we are just railed back in my Camaro, dog, and we just chilling. We done fell asleep. And at the time, all of a sudden, my phone rings. And I pick up my phone. Watch this. I pick up my phone and I go, hello? We had those flip phone back there, you know what I'm saying? And so, hello? And I'm kind of out of it, Vic, I'm out of it, right? And so I hear, Lord, can you hear me? It's Jim Cornette. I can't hear you. Get someplace so I can hear you. I'm going to hang up and call you back. And so I sat up real quick. My girl is over here sleeping. I sit up and I'm like, wait a minute. And I get out the car. I'm like, was this Jim Cornette? Like, really? And I'm standing out. I get it and I go stand on the dock and all of a sudden it rings back. Elijah, Jim Cornette, you hear me? Like, hey, Jim, how you doing? Great, I can hear you a lot better now. Listen, out of all the people that put in a doggone request to come to OVW trial camp, they give a picture that looks like $1 million, and then when they get here, they look like mess. He just went to saying everything, man. But he and this was after the tryout camp. This was after the tryout, or this was during the selection this was after the tryout camp. I had already got my letter that I had been accepted just off of everything that I sent. So he says so many people came to the OVW tryout camp. They sent pictures of them all jacked, and then all of a sudden they get here and they're unrecognizable, looking like the Pillsbury Doughboy. This is what he said. And he said, but you have something. He said, I know you're a boxer. I know you just became an officer. You know you bought your mama house and you're taking care of your sister's kids. He said, but I can't promise you a contract with the WWE. But I'm telling you, if you come back up here to OVW and train, I can guarantee you a contract. And I had a decision to make. 2 or 3 days before my 5-year, my bump raise with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, get that little pen, that's, all that stuff. I had to decide, am I staying or am I stepping out on faith? Well, when it comes to the belief in my God, my Savior, bruh, there's no question. And any time that you have to do such a thing, man, see, y'all got me on here. See, this is when y'all wonder why I'm broke. Listen.
Hey, do your thing. Do your thing.
Listen.
Go ahead.
When you are going to step out on faith, you don't worry about a safety net. See, a lot of people, they trust the trust fall because they know they got somebody behind them to catch them. But when you step out on faith, you step out blindly saying, hey, I can't see it, but I believe it. That's the type of, man, I know everybody ain't here for church, so I ain't trying to do that. So.
Hey, preach, preacher.
Go ahead.
A lot of times for you to get to where you want to go, a lot of times for you to obtain the unattainable, to see the invisible, and the list goes on. The untangible becomes the tangible. All these things happen when you step out and said, in thee, oh Lord, do I put my trust. Because if he said it, it's going to happen. And I want to be clear. This was even said to me as I was a kid because everybody used to, bro, I used to go to the offering table. I used to get up to go to the offering table. You know, please give me $1. If I got 50 cents and I go put it on the offering table, I'll turn around and do a Ric Flair strut back down the aisle. You know, everybody, I was that guy. You know, everybody laugh at that kid. Boy, you so crazy. Go sit down. But that has always been a dream ever since I was a kid, man. Ever since I was a kid. And for the first time in my life, I was seemingly alone. For the first time in my life, I had to I had to take my savings and everything that I had and go to Louisville, Kentucky without what one would surmise as without a guarantee. I had to go and I had to be without my family. I had to go into a strange land. I had to become uncomfortable. But it is very important to understand that before you get to where God wants you to go, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because when you get to that place, to the destination, there's more uncomfortableness that's on the way. So you got to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable because everything that you're going to deal with, and when you talk about me being in this business and maintaining faith, well, that's because I'm comfortable being in uncomfortable situations. I know how to deal with it. You understand? I even told Walter that. Don't worry, I know how to navigate.
That's exactly what he said.
I know how to navigate. I know how to deal with this. I've been in this business for 20 years. 20 years. And then maybe 1 or 2 more. But 20 years, that's just a thing you got to say. It's like Hulk Hogan. Brother, 20 years ago. What you talking about, Hogan? It's 40 years now. But nonetheless, they always say 20 years. So I'm there now, so it's like 20 years I've been in this business, man. And not one time have I been in any compromising position. Not one time have I done anything that went against who I am. Even when I was in TNA and not Vince Russo, I think it was Bruce Pritchard at the time, they wanted me to do this whole thing with the dogs, to stealing church from the church's money and becoming Michael Vick. It's like, nah, I gotta fight it. I got a pit bull at home, and I'm not gonna be stereotyped into the Michael Vick thing. I don't see money coming from it. What's the point? So sometimes you're going to get to a point where you have to stand your ground and stand on your morals and your beliefs. And that just comes with the territory.
I know Jay got some questions, so I'm gonna let Jay go, and then we'll probably make the U-turn back.
I ain't got nobody in here. I ain't got no body to fan me, so I'll fan myself. Y'all done got me worked up. Normally, if that happens, somebody come from behind you and start fanning you, so I'll do it myself. Go ahead.
Oh, I gotta say, first and foremost, man, when you mentioned the territorial days of the NWA, I was right there with.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little older than my compadre, okay? So I remember those days very well. You don't remember this, but you and I bumped heads, not badly, but we ran into each other when you were with the WWE early in your career.
Really?
Yeah, I ran into you at Reagan National Airport at the time.
Really?
Yeah, doing the baggage claim area.
Really?
Yeah, and we spoke for about roughly 10 minutes.
You probably asked me for a picture, and I was like, no.
Nope. I didn't
No.
ask you for a picture. I just said, I like your work. Keep doing what you're doing. I believe in you.
I appreciate that. Were you working there, or you just happened to be hanging out?
I was working at the time before I started working for Homeland Security. I was working for U.S. Airways.
Okay. Yeah, because I know during that time, during WWE, even if it came to that point today, I'm going to. At that time, I was Elijah Burke. They didn't necessarily, they wanted me to be that guy. So I always believed in being that guy. So I got a guy by the name of Con Man. He's my producer on Post Point of View podcast. And, I told him at the time, he came up to me in Indianapolis, and he was like, "Yo, Pope, can I get an autograph?" And I was like, laughing at him. I said, "Who's that beside you?" He's like, "That's my girl." And I said, "She won't be if I get next to her."
Oh.
Yeah. And yeah. So
yeah, before I fire my question, another thing I want to point out, I hear in your voice the conviction, the power of belief, okay? And I see and hear a lot of crime and a lot of playmaking. And I see in your physical appearance, you could be related to Prime. Are you, by any chance?
Are you talking Dion?
Yeah.
That is so funny. It's only funny because just yesterday I saw Prime's son got selected. I don't know when it happened, but I just happened to come across it to Tampa Bay, and how he was saying there's a lot of people be like, "Are you related to Prime? Are you related to Prime?" And this is the first time I've ever got that. Now I walk through the airport quite often, and somebody that goes Shannon Sharp or wherever I'm at, if I got Shannon Sharp, I'm like, I don't know how you see it, but okay, I guess. And if I can look like Shannon Sharp when I get 55 years old, then definitely call me Shannon Sharp.
Okay.
But no, to answer your question, I'm not related to Prime.
Okay. My first question to you, you mentioned boxing earlier, and I did some research about you.
Speak up, Jay, so I can hear you.
Yeah, you're not very loud.
All right. So my question for you is, when you were boxing in amateur, what was one of your biggest accomplishments you were proud of, and what made you not want to pursue professional boxing after a career of 98-1?
Oh man. Well, first off, I fought all my life. All my life, I had to fight. I had to fight my brothers. I had to fight my best friends. I had to fight. So I don't like fighting. I didn't box because I wanted to box. It was a happenstance where I came up upon it. And the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, what do you call that? That thing that they're a part of, the Fraternal Order of Police, FOP. So they came up with a fundraiser for charity, much like my events now are with the LoveAlive charity. I do wrestling events to raise money as a way to help supplement, some of the costs. They came up with a charity event where the boxers will be comprised of firefighters and policemen. So it's team policemen versus team firemen. And they put out the notification. Anybody want to, join? I was like, okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. And so I got in. I started going to a place called Club 5. That was my first ever amateur fight, Club 5. It was during the Tough Men era when they could hold these Tough Men events everywhere. And so I got in there, to test out my training. I had been training at the PAL under this older boxer, boxing trainer. And once I did it, to get me to our first big event for that Guns and Hoses, I was like, I dig this, and it was all about the entertaining aspect for me, not the hurting people. I don't like to hurt people. I don't like to beat up. I recently, earlier this year, got in the ring with one of my guys just to teach him a lesson. I got some gloves. I say, get them gloves and put them on and hop in the ring. I'm going to teach you something this day. And after the first time I connected with him, I couldn't go hard anymore. I felt bad, and everybody that I knocked out, I checked on. Everybody that I knocked out, there was one kid that was in there that I just felt like shouldn't have been in there. I knocked him out. He stretched out. He looked like one of those police outlines where they fatality and they outline the body. That's how he was in the ring. And it's like, yo, y'all laughing, but it's not a laughing. I won, but I don't care about that. And I stayed there. I went to the ambulance with him, and it's like I'm checking on him. And so I have a genuine love for people. I didn't ask for it though. It's just how God made. It's who I am. And so I was doing that to continually be entertaining. I went out to the ring in robes. I had robes made at that time. My auntie was a seamstress. My last robe that I ever had made is so much money. And I'm not talking about the cost. I'm talking about Ric Flair comparable. Like, it's so much money that I would never wear it unless I'm going for a world heavyweight title, in an organization. I still have it 20 years later. And I still believe I want you to bookmark this. I still believe I'm going to wear it. I still believe I'm going to wear that robe and go out and win. I'm ACW heavyweight champion right now, but I still believe I'm going to go out there and wear that robe and win a world title. Guaranteed. That's just who I am. And for those of you who don't believe what I believe, then believe in Journey. Don't stop believing.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna turn it back over to our main host, Mr. Dubb. Dubb got a question to fire at you.
All right, so I've been in a bunch of lives where we've talked about us.
Okay.
As a strong black voice in wrestling, what did it mean to carry that torch on national TV?
Oh man, it meant everything. It was, and there's so much to come from the four up, from the braids, from some of the things that I did. It meant so much, and it still means so much. Even though I know things have changed and are changing, but the more change that comes, the more change that remains the same, as I say. The more things change, the more it remains the same. It's still a struggle. It's still a controversy. I give you a little controversy because I talked about it on my podcast. It ain't controversy unless you make it, but it's true. I think about the ones that came before me, like Kamala. And it's like, hey, Kamala just got put in the Hall of Fame. WWE Hall of Fame, great. He deserves it, right? But where was that moment? Where was that moment that Kamala and his family deserved to be up there behind that podium, to tell his story for 5 minutes, like everybody else got to tell the story? I tell, and spoke about this on my podcast, Kamala, you talk about The Undertaker, Mark, who I respect the absolute greatest to the highest level. And there's no other who has ascended, maintained, and been what Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, has been to the business. And they often tout his 30 years, dead man 30 years or whatnot. But there was one person that was more committed to his character than even The Undertaker, and was still relevant to this day, and that's Kamala. Kamala was 40 plus years. Every place he went, he was Kamala. And anytime they needed somebody to be a monster heel, to get some heat on somebody, they brought in Kamala. When Hogan left WWE, or F at the time, and went to WCW, guess who they brought in? Kamala. When they wanted to get Umaga over as the next quote-unquote Ugandan giant or Samoan, bulldozer, who do they bring in? Kamala. So you look at the legacy wing of the WWE, which is supposed to be for those in the past who may not be remembered. Well, the hell with that. Are you kidding me? There's nobody. You still making Kamala toys. What you mean nobody knows who he is? I guarantee you they know Kamala before they do Tugboat, Typhoon. I mean, come on. And most only know him because of the Shockmaster. That's not a knock on him. That's not a knock. But the natural disasters, they went into the WWE Hall of Fame and they got a moment. They were only together for almost 2 years. Think about that. And Kamala, old Kamala, was there for I don't know how long, in and out. So, it's always, I take what I do, being a black man, right. I just actually saw my first comment. I didn't even I didn't know people was commenting. But he said, I never seen Tugboat wrestle. But that's not to say Tugboat don't deserve it. Earthquake certainly deserved it and deserved it one of his own. But it's still a challenge. We still have an uphill climb. You understand what I'm saying? We still face those challenges as people of color to get our respect and our rightful due. That's just fact. That's not. I know a lot of people been getting on Triple H and all that stuff recently about all. I don't care about all of that per se of their storylines and this, that, and the other. But money is money, and I want to be clear. Anybody, as proved by Vince McMahon during the time, anybody that's put in the position and pushed in the position will be successful. That's just fact. So it's all up to the pencil. It's all up to the people behind the scenes to say this is who we want. And we see right now who they want.
I'm gonna ask you one more question, and I'll give it back over to Barz. I know we're running low on time. Do you think the game is doing enough now to elevate black talent and tell our stories?
What you mean game? You talk about the game we're in?
Wrestling game, the wrestling business.
I think that there's a rabid fan base, and I think that there's people, more people that look like you and I that are now more involved, than ever in the wrestling business. As far as being involved, watching it, being fans and whatnot, I think they did a great. I think the business has at times done some great things with people of color, but it also comes across at times that it is done to, to pacify us, to shut us up. I'm still, to this day, I'm still waiting on a black man to lead the way, and we've had too many talented brothers and people of color to come along that have not been in the position to be the Hulk Hogan, to be the Stone Cold, to be the Rock, to be the John Cena, to be the Roman Reigns. We've had too many talented brothers to come along. Oh, what y'all laughing because I put the Rock in that equation? You're absolutely right.
No, it's funny that you say that because
when's the last time The Rock said, I'm a black man?
And that's what I was about to say. I've been in a lot of lives where, he only claims that he's black when it comes to his daddy, but any other time. But that's another for another day.
Yeah, no issue with Dwayne. Love Dwayne, but I included him for that reason. I'm talking about black. I'm talking about Grace Jones black. I'm talking about R-Truth black. Lead the way. Not in between to make to satisfy. No, let them lead the way. Be the guy, not a guy. The guy. The last time we had a world. Kofi is one of my best friends in the business. That's what I traveled with. He was under me before I left. And look at his title ring. What did you think about? Is it historical? You may say so. Well, we got first one. Nah. Where's that pacifier at? Look at this unceremonious loss. Kofi Kingston gets in the ring. Who did Kofi Kingston beat? He beat Bryan Danielson. And then all of a sudden, Kofi falls to Brock Lesnar in how long? 30 seconds? 10 seconds? 5 seconds? Right? Daniel Bryan goes against Brock Lesnar, and it's a knockdown, drag out fight. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
I'll pass it to you, Bars.
Yo, you is talking facts right now because like as soon as you said how long it took for Kofi to lose, I was like, damn. Like I ain't know if you was gonna say, but I was like, damn. Like it's true because I was one of the guys that was marking out when he won the title. I was marking out
It was a moment.
because like yeah, it was a definite moment. You know, being that he's from Ghana, my family's from Nigeria. I was like, yo, we like 30 minutes away. I was like, yeah, you know, and then he lost it, you know, but it took some time for me to like, you know, really process the whole thing with that. And then I was like, man, you know, it's all good, you know. I'ma just let it well, it really ain't all good, but I'ma just let it I'm gonna just let it be, you know what I mean? Because I know that's you know that's how it's been, you know. But my question is to you is that what was your
Mm.
favorite matches
Of my
in
of mine
yeah
or of my fandom?
of yours and your fandom?
Well, of my fandom, the first match, well, obviously, any Dusty and Flair. Okay, that's just facts. Like any Dusty Rhodes and Flair. One of my favorite matches, and I don't know why it's my favorite. I just remember how excited I was, and it was when Dusty Rhodes faced Arn Anderson on a Worldwide Wrestling telecast, and he won the World Television Championship. You know well, mine's up, and I ain't gonna go get mine. But NWA World Television Championship that has never left me. Always stood out to me. Obviously, the trilogy with Flair and Steamboat. Um, but gosh, I don't know. Sting and Les Luger versus the Steiner brothers from Super Brawl 2. Like, yo, it was probably the first time that we've seen something of that magnitude where they were wrestling Japan style, and it was all in them. They were hitting one another. They were knocking one another. It was something else. So I got a lot of great matches. And again, I'm an NWA guy. I think if you talk WWF at the time, obviously we just as kids we loved the Ultimate Warrior and Hogan. That matchup, WrestleMania 6. You didn't like that? Oh man, well you couldn't have been. I mean, that would be like saying everybody can look back right now, Jay, and be like, "Oh, that match was horrible." Well, so was Hogan versus Andre. It doesn't mean it wasn't a moment. It doesn't mean it wasn't what I mean. Oh well, Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man. That was the match. Well, that match don't happen. Pontiac Silverdome don't sell out if you don't have Hogan and Andre on top. That's what they came to see. Yeah, technically wise, Randy Savage and Steamboat killed it, but the attraction was still Hogan and Andre. And that was the magical moment. And it's funny that we talk about that today as I go in the woods for a second, but I'll come back out, I promise. We talk about that today because everybody now are experts. Everybody that sit behind this screen and every other screen and every keyboard, they're an expert on what's good wrestling. Good wrestling is not the wrestling that goes in there and is beautified through maneuvering this, that, and the other. That's not, technically is good. Good wrestling is the wrestlers and the match that goes in the ring and have people salivating and dying to see that they're going to pay their money and say, yo, I gotta see this. So we hate on the Hogan antics now, but go back and watch any old match. It is the pageantry and the bigger than life that creates the atmosphere of what is really a good match. And you know how it's a good match? It's a good match because it's already sold in the idea before it even happens. That's a good match. It may turn out crappy or whatnot. You know, I ain't talking Hogan Warrior from Halloween Havoc. That was horrendous. We know, you know, but it's the best match the Warriors ever had. Somebody got to give some credit where it's due there. You know, it was the best match he's ever had at WrestleMania 6. I've never seen him have a better match.
That was the very first match I remember watching with my father, was WrestleMania 6, Warrior and Hogan. At that point, I was like, Warrior, that's my guy, and can't nobody tell me anything different. I will say we have hit that 60-minute point. It's up to you, of course, but if you're down for a few more questions.
I'll stop you when I want to, if that's the case.
Go for it. I do want to ask a question that I saw in the chat. What is something you wish you could have did in wrestling you haven't done?
Manage. I think manage. I will, you know, I mean, I don't want to waste too much time managing, but maybe when my legs are being, you know, given up on me, then I can go ahead and manage. So I will probably. Somebody mentioned 3-minute warning. Yeah, that was one of my favorite segments ever. When Eric Bischoff did the, you know, did somebody say 3 minutes? You know, when they were doing the narrative. The writing, man. Sometimes it's related, sometimes it's excellent. They create moments. You got to give them that credit. But I don't know. I just would love to transition. Shout out to Gabby Tough. That's a joke from Post Point New Podcast. I think I would like to manage at some point. I just want to give back. You know, I create shows right now with All Caribbean Wrestling. We got a huge show coming up here this weekend in the Bahamas. I'll be defending that title against Prince Abala. I deal with younger talent. I help them. I try to give back. Some of them might be in here now. So actually, some of them are. And I think, you know, my time in the ring begins to come to an end. I would like to transition over to management. I'm not doing commentary. People's like, why are you commentating? Are you hurt? You injured? You retired? It's like, no, I'm smart, dummy. If they're going to pay me the same amount of money to sit behind the table, why the hell am I going to get in the ring and take box?
I'm going to ask you one more question from the chat, and then I'll get back to my co-host here. Did you ever work with, was it Eszgotbarz Akbar?
Oh my gosh, dude, what's wrong with y'all? That's way before all our time. That was just a little. No, I ain't work with no Eszgotbarz Akbar.
I'll just ask you questions from the chat, man.
Okay, that's common sense. Eszgotbarz Akbar was world class championship wrestling, and after that, he was pretty much done. Pretty much.
Go ahead, y'all.
Now, so I just wanted to, you know, the reason why I said for me that match is because when Hogan got injured in the match and they had to end it quickly, that match wasn't supposed to end as quickly as it did.
You talking about WrestleMania 6?
Yeah.
Never heard that.
So when Hogan he injured his knee, remember when he went for the leg dropper and Warrior moved out of the way, then he started favoring his knee?
Okay.
Yep. It was a legitimate injury.
Well, Jay,
on the fly.
Jay, I'm gonna let you hold on to that one. I'm not gonna debunk you on your own show, okay? But that was always a part of the plan. That was always a part of their plan. But if you say so, I never heard that. What I do know is that match, I've talked to Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson put the match together. Bless his soul, rest his soul, and the list goes on. That was always the plan. For him to miss the leg drop, old boy to get up, hit the rope, drop. 1, 2, 3. That was always the plan.
I'm not, yeah. I'm just saying from my point of view. I'm just saying that's why from my point of view why I didn't like. But my second question I have for you to fire at you, it's still about boxing. In the world of boxing, if you watch it today, who catches your eye and is like, dang, I wish I could have at least gave him some pointers along the way, or just be like an advisor to any professional boxer out here?
You know, I'm in my office, man, and I'm thinking about Sugar Ray. I got the boxing gloves over there from the Hitman, and signed, and it's crazy because much like with football, much like with basketball, uh, when your favorites leave, you kind of become a little out of it. Of course, I watched Floyd and Pacquiao, and and obviously you're not talking about them because I couldn't do nothing with them myself. Probably wouldn't even last a minute. Them boys are just, those are the pros. And people again ask me why I didn't transition. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get beat up either. And I didn't like beating other people up. But I haven't really just followed like that. When the familiarity begins to leave, the attraction for me leaves as well. I try to hang on to the football, being Jacksonville. At least I can support. When Peyton Manning retired, I was like, oh gosh, who am I going to watch on Sundays now? Like I can't. I mean, I'm going to watch the Jaguars. We always losing, but Peyton freaking Manning. I was hoping one more year. I almost feel the same way. I'm so proud of the Pacers and OKC, two young teams never been there, getting there and battling out in a back and forth to the sevens. But you know what? I didn't watch. I didn't watch. I'm guilty. Somebody hate me for it. I just didn't watch. I don't have much interest, And yes, if LeBron James had been in there, I would have been watching. So it's like, God dang, man, we know his time is coming up. So I'm trying to find the next person, star in that league of basketball where I can go, this is who I'm gonna get behind. This is the team I'm giving. I've always been a Lakers guy, so I'm gonna stay Lakers, obviously, but this is who I want to get behind. Luka. Yeah, Luka just whined too much for me. And I hope he just stop being a whiner and become a dog, and stop arguing with the doggone referees. Bro, go out there and do what you.
I'm gonna disappoint you, Pope.
You gonna disappoint me?
Yeah, even though I live in Washington D.C., born and raised, my maternal side is from New England, Massachusetts to be exact. So I'm a Celtics fan.
Oh,
yeah. And a Patriots fan.
Well, see, again, familiarity. I had no issue with the Celtics when they had their own big three or four, if you want to include Rondo. Everybody talk about James in the weak East, but this man had to go against Rondo. He had to go against doggone it. What's the big guy name? Y'all know all four of them. Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. Thank you. Bro, come on. But yeah, so I know LeBron's time winding up, and I just have to stick with the Lakers. And y'all might go, well, why LeBron? I like to support people of class. I like to support people that are a great representation of us. And so when I'm looking, I'm going, well, who's going to be the next, not just big guy, because we know they're already behind Luka, but who is going to be the next person that looks like you and me, who is going to represent us in a positive light, and not just represent us because they're in that position.
If you're watching football, you might say Lamar Jackson.
I love Lamar. I have no issue with Lamar Jackson, but if that's the case, I can say Jameis Winston as well. If that be the case. But you gotta win. And I'm not a Baltimore guy, but I definitely wanted him and them to beat Kansas City. Bar none. I was like, this year's their time, but it seems like Kansas City just always got that one toe up on them.
You're right. I'm going to ask you one question from the chat, and I'll get back to the co-host. Did Billy Corgan show you the proper respect?
Yeah. Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan is a ringmaster in his own circus. But the one thing, much like Vince Russo, y'all might want. I know a lot of people want y'all to ask some crazy stuff, and I'm not gonna stop y'all from asking what you want to ask. But Billy Corgan, much like Vince Russo, understand Pope is Pope. Let Pope be Pope. When I first became Pope in TNA, which I was supposed to be in WWE, but they wanted me to become a televangelist. Like, what? That's not what the Pope is, that's not what the Pope is, But Vince Russo comes to me one day, actually at the Genesis pay-per-view 2011. We're in the back, myself, Sting, Devon, and we're all waiting to shoot we're about to go live on pay-per-view. We need to get this pre-tape done. And I'm back there, and all of a sudden, Vince Russo comes running around, got his paper in his back pocket, pulls it out, and he goes, now mind you again, we're waiting on Vince Russo to film our pre-tape. He comes rushing up and he goes, okay, Popey, okay, what do we have? What are we doing? Huh? What? Why are you asking me? I'm waiting on. Yeah. What you got for me, Popey? And it's like, okay. And so that's kind of how Pope has gone. You just tell me what you want me to get across. I'll handle the rest, Daddy. I don't need you to tell me nothing. I'll do the rest. So that's kind of how it was. When Pope came to me, he said these words. Russo was like, listen, man, bro, I can't tell you how to be the Pope, bro. I'm a 40-plus-year-old Italian, bro. How am I going to tell a black man how to be the Pope, bro? You're the Pope, man. Be the Pope. Credit. I don't care how much garbage people pull on that. Credit to freaking Vince Russo, because that's the same way how The Rock became The Rock. That's how Stone Cold became Stone Cold. I'm not putting myself on that level. I'm telling you the process is pure, where you just let an individual who know who they are be themselves.
100. Go ahead, guys.
Have you ever wrestled for O'Shea promotion?
No, I've heard a lot about them in recent times, or people have asked me that in recent times, but I think they're based in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's right. What's the young man's name? That runs.
Darius Carter.
I got a chance to work with Darius. In the NWA, they brought him in. I don't know whatever happened. Yeah, he disappeared. He came in. He was there for a couple of tapings. Disappeared, and I reached out because we talked while he was there. And when I no longer saw him, I had to hit him up to let him know, hey man, what's going on? Especially when it's, when there's very few of you around, you gravitate to one another. Like, hey, yo, I'm just checking on you, reaching out, yada, yada, yada. And I think he had some personal issues that he had to deal with, or family issues that he had to deal with, whatever the case may be. I never saw him again. And now he's doing the O'Shea promotion. So, more power to him. And if the opportunity comes up where we talk business, I would definitely do so. But yeah, I would love to be a part. But they're doing a good thing. They're doing a good thing, representing in such a good way in Atlanta. So more power to my brother Darius. I got about 15 minutes for y'all if y'all want to go. But I got about 15, 20 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to see you in that promotion because they, I believe they had Sheldon Benjamin over there a few times, and they had Cedric Alexander over there as well. And I was like, dang, like when you were talking, I was like, yo, that would be dope to see the Pope over there, like
Word. Yeah. You probably, if I had to go to that place, it's a little dark over there from what I've seen, so I might have to be darker. If you get my drift. So I don't know if you want that version, but who knows, Oh man. Well, I'm just in a room talking with my brothers. Walt didn't inform me that it'd be so laid back to where I felt like I was talking to my own brothers in the hood and all that. But I've really enjoyed this, and I am enjoying it. And yeah, man, y'all.
That's what we are. We are priding ourselves on just being three laid back dudes that love wrestling. They also love other sports, and Barz is into music, and Jay has photography. we're just laid back, and we enjoy this stuff. So we met each other on this app, and we came together on this app to start going down this journey.
Well, good, man. How long y'all been doing this?
This is what, our third or fourth interview together.
Wow. Hey, man, I'll be sure, and when we get done, make sure you send me the information. I'll be sure to plug it as well. Of course, one of your podcasts.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I got one. If the Pope could manage one current superstar, doesn't matter what promotion, who's your chosen one? Because you brought up you wanted to manage at some point.
Is that your question or a question out of the chat?
That's mine.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. If I could manage someone right now, and this is not about being the chosen one, but who could benefit.
Who would you choose to be your guy? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Who could benefit? I don't want to just tag. I'm talking about getting someone who could benefit from being managed by Pope. I would probably go what's the kid? Jeez. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at two of them. What's the guy named from AEW? The black kid. That's Jack.
Swerve?
The Jack kid.
Kevin Knight.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh,
Powerhouse.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, that's a real good pick. Yeah.
Just someone who could benefit from it. Powerhouse Hobbs, or what's big boy named Keith?
Keith Lee?
Keith Lee. Oh, yeah.
What about Oba Femi?
Oba? What, isn't he with
He's NXT.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that brother's doing good. I mean, he definitely could use. I would definitely choose him too, because the wrestling is one thing, but to be a top guy, you got to be a talker, and not just be able to talk, but be able to captivate while you talk. And so it's very, those things go hand in hand, man. And him, definitely him. So those would be like my probably top three. Now I'm trying to go. No, Trick Williams don't need no man. I'm trying to go to the lighter side of things and see if I can find one over there. I'm trying to think. But I can't think of one.
So do you think that's why when WWE put certain guys with somebody like a Paul Heyman, their career trajectory just like skyrockets, because at that point they don't have to really worry about talking. They have a Paul Heyman to do the talking. All they got to worry about is what's going on in the ring.
Yeah, well, as soon as you get with a Paul Heyman, you're with Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman made sure you got with him. Paul Heyman is a very intelligent, cunning, and I mean that strictly the way the Bible says, cunning individual. And when he's sold on you, he's gonna make sure you like put him with me, give him to me. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing now. And I'm pretty sure that they may be adding some to the mix just to add for whatever reason. But yeah, when Paul Heyman gets his hand on anyone, gold is in their future, stardom is in their future, and Brian Breaker, he's destined to be their next guy. That's why they got him in that, and he'll be the guy that breaks off and topples Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins is champion. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened at WrestleMania.
I got one last question about it, and then I'll let the guys take it. Carmelo Hayes. Thoughts on Carmelo Hayes and what they're doing with Carmelo Hayes?
Well, to be clear, what are they doing with him? Exactly. It reminds me It reminds me, in a way, of me. Sometimes it's disheartening to see, and so therefore you don't want to watch it. It's like it's disheartening. Super talented, good-looking brother. No Diddy, and I just had to get that in there on
Oh, you snuck that in there good.
But yeah, man, look at him. Look at him. What don't he have? Yeah, he's not the biggest. Daniel Bryan. Yeah, he's not the biggest. Well, so what's the problem? I don't know. So my thoughts are, I don't have any really, except what's the issue? He was the guy down in NXT for a reason, wasn't he? You had him on top down there for a reason, wasn't he? You brought him up for a reason, right? Well, and so we still get the recycling process. A lot of people wonder why. Well, about Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank. Why? Did he need it? Who could have benefited from it more? Is the question. And the obvious answer is so many other people. So it's like, it is what it is. And again, Carmelo Hayes, he's very, very talented, and I hope they do better about it. Now, if you want to know who should have really went to the top, that's shout out to Ricochet. No, I'm kidding. But, go ahead.
Y'all got it. Go ahead.
So my question is, could we ever see you in AEW?
My charity, I don't know. I went to AEW a couple of times. I remember the first time I was there. I just so happened, I didn't even know it. I was, getting me. I was in catering, and the guy turned around. He's like, "Oh, Tony Khan, nice to meet you. Fan of your work, yada yada yada." That was my first time meeting Tony Khan. I happened to be standing in line, getting some catering. I had no idea he was there in front of me. And I've seen him since. I don't go asking for a job, but I've seen him. I go visit when they come. I don't know. I might not be. I've gotten to the point where it's like, as I've always been, if the Lord saith. So I don't dwell on those things. I'm a big believer in worry not what tomorrow may bring, for tomorrow will take care of itself. So I don't worry about all that type of stuff. I'm telling you who Pope is. I do not worry about what tomorrow may bring. You know why I don't do that? Because tomorrow ain't even promised. So why I'm gonna worry about that? Why I'm gonna sweat that? I don't know. But if that be the case, look at one of my guys in here. Talk about be anxious for nothing. That's Isaiah Zane. That's one of the guys that is up under my tutelage, both in life first and in wrestling. So he knows a little something about scriptures. But yeah, so when it comes to Tony Khan, I don't know, because me and my charity has tweeted him for 160 days now. And we tweet every day. We're tweeting every single day. And we're on day 159. Tomorrow will be 160. We're going to keep tweeting him. We're going to keep tweeting The Rock until one of them at least responds and acknowledges my charity. It's behooved me how we've been on the front lines before you even got started. We've been on the front lines in Jacksonville, Florida, doing the work. Sorry to go back to my charity. You can switch it afterwards, but we've been on the front lines doing the work here in Jacksonville. And the only time that any other work has been done in Jacksonville on that type of level is when calamity strikes or there's a heat wave or there's a famine in the land, whatever the case may be, a natural disaster. And then you might get a football player, because of this agent's like, hey, this would be good publicity, come do this or whatever. We're out there doing it throughout the year. And it's like, you hold these shows, and kudos for him for doing it. But you hold these shows and you give out these checks to charities and to this foundation and that foundation. And it's like, hey, yo, we're right here in your backyard. We're right here, we're literally downtown here. We're established right here. You mind sending us $100 at least? We ain't asking for $10,000. You want to just give us something and say, hey, man, what y'all doing is good. So we tweet him every day, literally every day. So unless he's blocked us, I don't know. But we're on the 159 right now. Tomorrow's 160. We're going to keep tweeting to him or The Rock. Again, calamity strikes. Hey, guys, I'm here with Oprah. Let's support and let's help rebuild and let's do this, do that. People have no food. People have no place to sleep. Well, so does these people here that we're dealing with in Jacksonville, Florida. And any other place. Let's do something at home. Oh, Rock is doing something at home. My bad. But you get the gist.
Quick question from the chat. What is something you wish to tell the new generation of wrestlers that wasn't told to you?
That wasn't told. I don't know if I can tell them something that wasn't told, because the game, that would be like trying to, reinvent changing a wheel on a car. It's like, there's only one way that it's going to be changed, Get your butt down there and get a tire iron and change it. Unless you got money, you'll get it changed by somebody else. But when it comes to wrestling, the advice that I give is two major advices that I always give. It's real simple. Shut up and listen. Yeah, shut up and listen. That's one. And the other one is learn how to work. You may go, oh, that's very good. No. I ain't talking about you. Learn how to work. Learn how to play the game. If you don't play the game's going to play you.
Time to play the game.
Hey, learn how to play the game.
Jay, you got any more questions?
Yeah, I got 2 questions. So now we're talking about wrestling, Pope. With the current talent in the wrestling industry, is there any male or female wrestler on your radar that you would love to work with, either as a tag team or one-on-one?
Is there any female wrestler that I would love to work with in a tag team?
Male or female.
Oh, because, back in the day, it was Jacqueline, like,
Current talent-wise.
Okay, just to give me time. Give me time. I'm gonna listen. Lord, take these thoughts out of my head. Because the first thing I see is Jacqueline in that red bathing suit.
Believe me, I understand. Believe you me. That was the time I ran into you, but I told you about.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Man. Woo.
Look, we gonna have to have, man, you gonna have to have a one-on-one interview to talk about it.
Lord, yeah, Jacqueline, she was just a beast, man. Watching her with Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit during that feud, oh my gosh. Boy, I feel there go my discernment. Here comes a Chris Benoit question. But man, her and Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan, Jacqueline was a beast. And the crazy part is, unlike China, she was doing this junk in high heels. When she was outside the ring managing and picking guys up and slamming them and all, she was doing it. Go back and watch Nitro. She was doing it in high heels. So yeah, Jacqueline, today, if there was someone that I would want to team with today, that's certainly a female, I would, that would be complimentary to Pope. That's only, It would only be just because of the Pope character. It would be Mercedes Moné. Yeah, it would be Mercedes Moné. As far as guys go, I don't know. I can't. Honestly, our truth.
You know, it's funny you should say that, Pope, because I always felt that had he not got released when you were in WWE at the time, I would have loved to see you guys pair up as a tag team, whether it been on SmackDown or Raw or ECW. I felt there was something about the K Quick before the R-Truth and you being there. There's something, the dynamics of your persona that seemed to would have complemented one another in and out of the ring, in my personal opinion.
I agree, and because of the shallow mindedness of some of the writers at the time, that definitely probably would have happened. Oh, two black guys, put them together. Makes sense.
My other question to you is, when it's all said and done, Pope, how does the Pope want to be remembered for his legacy in the business?
Man, you're supposed to be asking me that on another podcast. We done this junk and now you're just going to wrap me up like that and take me all the way to the end. We got so much that we ain't covered, and now you want to ask me how? I ain't answering that junk. Ask me something else.
No problem.
This ain't our last time talking. We're going to do this again. We got so much to cover.
I got you, my brother. I got you. So, do you feel the...
Hey, he just promoted you, Jay.
I know he just did a shoot on me. He just did a work on me. He was working me.
Man. All in love, man. LOV, all in love.
We can scratch that question for the real. But all right. So this was actually question 5, my very last question to ask you. Do you feel the overall wrestling world is in a good state of affairs, or can it, or should it be done?
Jay.
Yeah.
Pause real quick. Let me answer that. Okay. Again, just being true to the moment. I got to be true to the moment. Don't know what tomorrow gonna bring. You not promised, I'm not promised. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer it, because at least we'll have it. All right. That's that conviction. So many people talking, man. But if it ain't within you, Vic, if it's not within you, it'll show. If it's in you, it's gonna show. So I just got convicted in the very moment. So I got to go ahead and answer that question. I would like to be remembered as an individual who went out to the ring, always entertained, gave you your money's worth, never caused any problems, was never entangled in any negative news, and more importantly, carried the banner inside the ring and outside the ring. Even though he may be heel or face, whatever the case is, you still always know that he's waving that bloodstained banner, and that will never, ever, ever not be the case. So I want to be remembered as somebody who got there, who unlikely succeeded in accomplishing his dreams. And I'm very grateful to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because so many people set out, they have dreams and they're never realized. It's okay to accomplish goals, but I was able to conquer my dream. And for 20 years, brother, my dream has kept me. For 20 years, I'm living in that same dream. I'm fortunate, I'm grateful, and that's the word that I want you guys to always keep. And now I'm winding it down, so now we got to get ready to get out of here. So now I want you to always remember, if there's one word to describe Pope, it's grateful. That's it. That's how I want to be remembered. That brother was grateful.
And you're genuine too.
Thank you, my brother.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the Pope. You can blame Jay Stylez for asking that question.
You just kind of got to one of those serious moments, and
I would be doing my job as a podcast journalist if I didn't have a question like that to throw out.
No, that was great, man. And what was your other question that you was asking before? I don't want to take that away from you.
How do you feel about the overall state of professional wrestling? Do you feel it's in a good state of affairs, or should more to be done to improve the overall product, regardless of the promotion?
I think wrestling right now is probably more marketable than it's ever been. I think the WWE in the next few years, we're going to see some things that we probably never thought we'd see. So it's tricky. It's tricky because right now it's so oversaturated. Wrestling is so over. Too much of a good thing becomes bad.
Right.
What's your favorite food? Somebody tell me. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food actually is chicken.
You can eat chicken every day, right?
No, I don't.
No, I say you can. Pay attention, Jay.
No, I'm saying I can't. I'm saying I can't.
Oh, you can't?
Can't.
Well, is that because of medical, physical, whatever?
Medical.
Okay. Well, if you could, would you?
Yes, I would.
And then guess what'll happen? You'll get tired of it. Too much of a good thing becomes bad. A kid will love ice cream. Ice cream. Too much of it becomes a bad thing. Now they got a tummy ache. Now they're sick. So even with wrestling, social media, and the list goes on. Too much is bad. Well, maybe not even social media, but yeah. So too much of a good thing becomes bad. And right now, wrestling is so oversaturated that it's like, bruh, just give me the results. I'm not gonna spend my life watching 10 hours of wrestling a week. That's just crazy. So that's how much, but it's good. It's good because there's options for the wrestling fans. There's options. But now everybody got to divide and they got to say, okay, I'll watch this. I won't watch that. I'll watch that. Much like what's coming up with the Saturday night main event, Evolution, the NXT Great American Bash, and AEW all Texas. All in Texas. All on one weekend. Like, if any one of you told me that you're going to watch every bit of all of that, call me back so I can hang up in your face.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Not a chance. Not. And I'm in the business. Not a chance that I'm going to sit and watch all of that. And AEW is 6 hours by itself. So make that 12 to 14 hours of TV. Not a chance.
Hey, Pope, this is the bonus question towards
okay, man.
What you just said. With tribalism, how do you feel about a lot of wrestling fans, especially the IWC, being tribalist?
People need to shut up, and I don't mean those that are being tribal. I'm talking about those that are saying they shouldn't be tribal. Well, what is basketball without tribalism? What is football without tribalism? Well, they're in one league, yeah, but you're still rooting for one team. You know how many people hate the Pacers? I ain't gonna say all of them, but I saw this little thing that was done on Jimmy Kimmel. Pacers fans hate OKC. OKC fans hate Pacers. Okay, let's go on a bigger scale. Celtics, Lakers, tribalism. Just like I'm sorry to disappoint you, Bob. So if y'all ever get to the point where y'all like, just enjoy wrestling, they are enjoying wrestling. That's why there's tribalism. If they weren't enjoying it, they wouldn't be taking sides. Yeah, but it's all, we should just be supporting wrestling. Well, they are supporting wrestling. And they got a voice to talk about or take sides. That just makes wrestling more interesting. When did that come about? How did that come to be? that came during the Monday Night War era. Before that, there was just a preference. After that, there was, we got to take a side. We're choosing sides because WWE fans felt like they were responsible for having WWE come back, or WWF at the time, and WCW fans felt they were responsible for WCW becoming the number one promotion. So you can't take that away from the fans. You know, they pay their money, and you pay your money, and you just enjoy it. Let them choose whatever side they want to choose. That's the beauty of wrestling. It makes it that much more interesting.
No, I'm turning it back over to Dub.
No, well, I want to make sure that Barz didn't have anything else before we close it out.
I just wanted to say, I just wanted to answer this one question real quick. So, you are quite the belt collector in OVW. I'm looking right here. You had the OVW Heavyweight Championship. You had the OVW Television Championship. You had the OVW Southern Tag Team Championship. You was the most improved wrestler of the year in 2010 and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So you conquered everything in OVW. How? Or what he's looking for?
He's looking for the plaque.
Yeah, that plaque. That plaque is around here somewhere.
You looking for that plaque?
Yeah, that plaque is around here somewhere. But no, the PWI award that was from 2010. During my Pope run. Yeah, that was during my Pope run. And again, I was going to. Yeah, man, OVW was home, man. And again, I know a lot of people. Maybe you guys, you know, y'all might have had something to say about Jim Cornette at some point. But here's the actual title that I used that was given to me for TV before they made my white one. I don't know if you guys saw me with my white television title. That's they had that custom made for me. Oregon. That's put up somewhere, but this is the title that I kept on television. And I don't know, man. Everybody may have had some stuff to say about Jim Cornette, but I'll say this about Jim Cornette. Just like with Vince McMahon, they know money when they see it. I don't care where they stand at, in whatever side and how they view people. But they know money when they see it. And anytime that you're in the business, you understand the money making process. Regardless who it is, you go with it. And that's only because with Vince McMahon, much like with OVW at the time, with Jim Cornette, that was their baby. They, that business depended on drawing people in and making money, outside of the little supplement that it was getting from WWE. They was making, they were running shows before they got signed to a developmental. So if they didn't make money and they didn't draw people into the house, then OVW would have ceased to exist at that time. So same with WWF. Vince went where the money was, regardless of who it was. Still mad that they didn't do nothing with JYD, but that's a story for another day.
I know we got plenty more for you, but time is money, and I know your time is valuable. Before we get off here, would you like to plug in your charity one more time for the chat?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Guys, again, LoveAlive.org. $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others. It's been a challenge, but 14 years later, we're still doing the do here in the city of Jacksonville. So if you get a moment, go read our mission statement. Find out what we do. Look at the videos. Go to the bottom of the website. We got video links. You'll see where several talents have come, whether that's Tyrus from Fox News, whether that's Red Velvet from AEW, whether that's Flying Brian Pillman Jr., a.k.a. Lexus King, JTG, and the list go on. They were all Rebel. Don't forget about Rebel from TNA and AEW. They all come down on their own dime just to partake in helping and in feeding and clothing and assisting the homeless community in Jacksonville. So if you got a moment, again, love-alive.org. or you can donate via Cash App. The LoveAlive charity. And of course, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Open Pollo Del Mar, we're dropping our edition of Pope's Point of View every single Saturday, and that's on every podcast platform. You can find us, listen to us, and hear your boy really going in.
Well, from the square circle to the streets, from the pulpit to the people, the Pope isn't just a character, he's a movement. Give it up one more time for Elijah Burke.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you coming on and spending an hour and some change with us. Hopefully we can do it again and get some more questions in. And man, this has been absolutely amazing. I'll be honest with you, I was nervous. Yeah. I'm an introvert, so I'm not used to really talking to people. And then when I saw Elijah Burke, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
You're an introvert?
I am.
I'm an introvert. How about that?
Yeah.
No.
I don't believe that, but yes, I am. But I have my boys here, you know, my wife, they all calming me down, saying everything is okay. I got my mods that was about. So, I mean, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and speak with us.
Hey man, listen, Vic, Walt, and Jay, you guys, my brother, and y'all continue doing the work. Now I'm gonna tell you when you felt that, because now one of y'all sending me anything about your name, because I could have promoted it for you. So the next time we get together, oh no, you'll send it when we're done. Yeah. So the next time, Lord's willing. Send it to me. Again, I'm going to promote you guys. I'm going to promote this and your channel on our podcast this week. So, yeah, man, just make sure we have that. I could have been promoted for you. I knew it was coming. I didn't know that it was an actual podcast. So that is my fault. I'll take responsibility for that. I thought I was just going to be talking to you, Walt. That's what I thought it was going to be. And then you hit me with this. Boy, I tell you. You people, you never keep your word. But anywho, you get it. But nah. Listen, man. Before I leave, I just want to say that I feel like I'm sitting at a barbecue joint, man, and talking to my cousins, talking to my neighbors, my friends, whatever the case may be. I just feel like we just all got in here and caught up. I want to thank you guys for the hospitality. I want to thank you guys for the respect. And I want to thank you guys for keeping it 100 in making sure that Pope's story, not just from a wrestling standpoint, but from a life standpoint of what I'm doing with the charity. I appreciate you guys for, sharing that with your viewers, your listeners, and I look forward to doing that.
Absolutely. I think I already follow you, and I think Barz and Jay, if y'all don't follow him, follow Pope.
I follow him.
And then we'll get you the information sent over, even if it's just, I guess I could do mine and Barz, and then Jay could do that, and then we can, or Barz is the one who came up with the name, so Ring Ropes and Turnbuckle podcast. So I'll let Barz send you the information on the podcast itself.
Okay. All right, man. Are y'all on other platforms, or you mainly doing here?
Yeah, we're on other platforms right now. What I'm doing is, until we start the Ring Ropes and Turnbuckle on YouTube, I got all the content on Barz Wrestling Media channel, which is an extension of Ring Ropes and Turnbuckle. So everything that we're doing today, I'm a whiz at editing and graphic design, so I'm gonna have it done for you, and I'm gonna send you the link and everything, so that you'll have it.
So obviously you're gonna edit all this out, but this is gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's the one he's like the whiz when it comes to all this stuff. So he'll get our YouTube page up and going, and then he'll edit this, and he'll send me a copy, he'll send Jay a copy, and like he said, he'll send you a copy.
Okay, that's what's up. I'll be sure to get it out there and share it with you guys.
want to say this real quick. Shout out to Duval County. For those of y'all don't know, that is the city of Jacksonville.
That's right.
They need all the love, support, and help that they can get. I've been down there. My mom, who used to work for AT&T, that used to be their global headquarters at one time. So I'm very, very deep rooted to the city of Jacksonville, and for the Pope being a product of the city of Jacksonville, I feel like we even more connected to one another. So with that, please do all you can to support his foundation, his charitable work, as well as the city of Jacksonville. Hopefully, the city of Jacksonville will bestow upon their son with the key to the city and more, because he's well deserving, his charity deserves it, and the people of Jacksonville deserve it.
Thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The Pope himself, Elijah Burke. Y'all have a good night.
Blessings.